So I recently came across a video that discusses a problem with Arknight, and I watched it through a reaction of Saint Tontas, and I wanted to weigh in because both of them were kinda wrong, but also kinda right. Saint dismissed everything the guy said, even though he had some fair points, while Tobo contradicted himself in more ways than one, and he acted like his way of playing is the only right one, looking down on others like as if they are below him the whole way through. Before we dive deep into it though, I think a gacha game should be casual and fun on the surface, and it should only be difficult in its endgame. You can agree or disagree, but people play and enjoy things differently. To further explain, let's start.
This is not something we should be praising, guys. This is a predatory system that, yes, on the surface might appear good or advantageous to some people, but it has such a large capability of completely ruining somebody that's like a casual player that's not like hyper optimizing their pulls on a fucking calendar basis. I don't care if it's statistically better, it has such a high possibility of absolutely ruining somebody that's just misinformed. It is such a crazy noob trap, it's ridiculous.
The gacha system won't kill the game, but the pity disappearing is predatory, whether you like it or not. And it is not the player's fault for not saving or for being greedy and stupid.
Damage. And in addition to that, every single attack and skill animation will be cancelled by dodging. The sole exception is Gilberta's Gravity Well, which is the only battle skill in the game that is in effect over a fixed duration, as opposed to a single instance of damage or an instantly applied buff. All of this combined tells us that Enfield's dodge exists in direct contradiction to the discipline and intentionality the game is trying to encourage.
So the easiest way to fix what he's saying is to make things optional, or make the endgame have that difficulty. I wanna bring up an example here. Like Virtual Crisis from Wuthering Waves, right? In that game mode, in that endgame, you can legit just turn on whatever modifier you want and make it harder the way you want. So like there's like 30 or something modifiers, and then you can legit just pick whichever you want, and each of them makes it difficult. And if you activate all of them, it's gonna be very freaking sweaty, and it's a really fun game mode. It's a really good game mode. Now, making things optional is always the best choice for video games, as it gives a sense of freedom, right? And I think every game should strive for at least a minimum sense of freedom, right? If a game feels restrictive, I mean, is it gonna feel good? Probably not.
May well be possible to adjust it to complement their intended design goal, but if you are a beta tester who looked at the feedback section, you will have seen that in reality, the vast majority of players were asking for the opposite. More iframes, more SP, more...
Okay, so there's just one thing that I wanna ask real quick. So how does this guy know what the dev's intent is? Like, is he on the team as well? Does he have an insider leaking him info we don't know of, or like what? Because he's saying these things as if like he himself made the game. He's talking about like how Arknights intent and like direction doesn't suit this combat system.
Discipline and intentionality the game is...
Discipline and intentionality of the game. Like bro, like he's saying this as if he himself made the game. Like, I don't know, man. If they are willing to make changes to a core mechanism of the game, I don't think it's in their intent to encourage discipline. I think it's in their best interest to make the game more fun for a wider audience. And that takes me to my next point. Arknights Endfield doesn't have to be a Genshin or Wuthering Waves copy to succeed. It can keep its identity and uniqueness without making game feel like a job or chore. It can still have a niche target audience without blocking out everyone else by making things optional. Again, optionality in games, a sense of freedom in games, is always good.
talking about how he was actively griefing his team. Is he actually going to get into him griefing his team?
Wishadel doesn't have enough defense to tank it. So I brought him to every game and immediately team killed every Wishadel I came across so that I could actually enjoy playing the co-op mode together with my teammates.
Now, I actually thought this was funny, to be honest. Assuming he did this a couple of times and not all day every day, right? But it felt like Saint didn't really consider any of his takes because of this one thing and because of him being a hypocrite. Now, I actually think Saint is a good dude, and I do think that the guy in the video, Tobo, he was saying quite a lot of hypocritical things a lot of times. But that doesn't mean he didn't have some good takes as well. Because the game shouldn't dumb down too low. As a game made for everyone, it's a game made for no one. But it also should not be just like Elden Ring, or just like Factorio, or just like any other gacha game for that matter. Hence, if I want to play any of those games, I'll just go and do that.
It didn't matter to them that this was a cooperative game mode, and no matter how clearly it was explained to them that their use of Wishadel was preventing me from using anyone.
So you're going to blame the other players because they have a life? They have other things that they're trying to do in the day? Like, wait, are we actually at the point where we're going to start openly critiquing people because they want to clear content fast so they can go ahead and do other things with their life in a gacha?
It just fell on deaf ears. They didn't even enjoy the game, they just wanted the rewards that came after it.
Or they might just not enjoy this game mode. They might like the game as a whole, but they don't maybe want to, I guess, or maybe they enjoy seeing their Wishadel pop off and destroy shit. And so what you're doing, because you want to play the co-op mode for longer, you decided to grief your team. What if your teammates' definition of having fun is to see their Wishadel pop off and destroy shit in this game mode? So it's okay for you to negate and sabotage someone else's fun, as long as you're prioritizing your own fun, it's okay, it's good.
This is a very good example of why Tobo is hypocritical. He says they stop him from having fun because they play with a specific character, and says that they don't consider his fun, yet he doesn't consider their fun or their way of playing either. Saying things like, I just wanted to get the rewards and be done with it, or I just wanted to use my favorite character, is completely reasonable, and his way of having fun also destroyed other people's fun.
The beta for a moment. Remember all those seemingly random requests for open world mechanics like wall climbing and grappling hooks and stuff? They must be aware that a major part of the game is relaying power and building your own zip lines, right? The inspiration from Death Stranding should be pretty obvious. You get to choose where the zip lines go, but you have to set them up yourself.
Okay.
You can't just have them without building them. But all those requests for random open world shit exist because whether you realize it or not, you're asking for exactly that. You want what the ziplines provide without the responsibility of building them yourself.
Or you're somebody that prioritizes spending a whole lot of fucking time doing nothing, and you want everyone else to have the same suffering experience doing a whole lot of fucking nothing, and so you're shitting on people that want to have a more streamlined and fun game. Yeah, they need to have fun my way. It's my way. They need to have fun this way.
Honestly, I kind of agree with Tobo here. I don't think Arknights Endfield needs a grappling hook or flying necessarily, since the ziplines are a big part of the game's experience. However, I do think that the movement should feel smooth at the very least. Like how Saint said, it's not just one way of enjoying a game, so a double jump or a smooth way to go up walls, either by not limiting its stamina or doing something that allows it to be a bit faster, would not hurt the game, in my opinion. If you enjoy building and want to spend hours in ziplines, you can. If not, you don't have to. It's that simple.
And that is where the real root of the problem lies. Gacha gamers have been taught their actions won't matter, and therefore, gacha gamers have come to expect.
Huh?
What I said before stands here too. If I wanna play Elden Ring, I'll do just that. Gacha games are not meant to be hard for casuals. They are not meant to be played as a sweat or try hard. That's what their endgame is for. The base game itself shouldn't be hardcore.
Their actions will not matter. The complaints from beta testers all stem from this root cause. Dodging when it's a bad move led to consequences, but your expectations are that dodging is never the wrong move.
You can literally dodge too much in games like Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero and even Genshin Impact. You're limited to 2 in a certain span of time.
Yeah, I just think this is plain wrong. I mean, let me show you an example. I dashed twice here and then die because I can't dash again for a few seconds, right? I rushed, I messed up, and I die. I got one shot by this boss, by this tactical hologram. So yeah, making the combat more intricate is fine, as long as it feels good and it is fun, right? Making it more hard is also fine, as long as it's still good, right? One thing that many people fail to realize is what copying means. I think that's also an interesting thing to talk about. If a game copies something from another game and makes it better, that's good. If they copy something and make it worse, that's bad. Imitation is the highest form of flattery, as they say. And obviously the worst one of them all is when they steal something, you know, one-to-one plagiarizing. That's just like not cool. But they don't have to copy other games to make their own better. It's just, you know, copying something and improving upon it is ultimately a positive, in my opinion.
优化闪避的呼声，要求蓝图的声音可能还要更大。这些人可不会在要求蓝图的言论中拿那几个游戏给自己套盾。抄作业比起亲力亲为的闪避，才是最快捷、迅速删除掉一个玩法乐趣的东西吧？那为什么有那么多人对蓝图抄作业有需求？就是因为许多人他就是抱着吃快餐的心态去玩 Gacha 的。
He's absolutely right.
Now this guy said, why do people want to have blueprints? Why do so many people want blueprints? They treat gacha games as fast food. Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with playing gacha games like eating fast food. Second of all, because people can enjoy different things. Well, he said it takes out all the fun from the game. Well, guess what? For others, it's not the same. For others, it might not be fun. They might just want to do other things in the game, right?
吃快餐的心态去玩 Gacha 的。
He's absolutely right in saying that blueprints would be an atrocious idea, and if they'd been present in the beta, the Death Knell video would be sunshine and rainbows compared to the Doom posting I'd be doing in that timeline. But what I think his point of view misses is the fact
He's talking about blueprints so that people can just like avoid the base building part, so that they can.
Yeah, so then Tobo says they shouldn't add blueprints. Oh no, sorry, he said it's an atrocious idea. Because it doesn't align with the philosophies of the devs or their intent with the game. Bro, what? The simplest solution is again to make it optional. Those who want to use blueprints because they don't enjoy building as much can, and those who don't want to use blueprints don't have to. It's that simple. It doesn't ruin the fun for others. It doesn't ruin the fun for you, so why is it such a big problem for you if it gets added? Why do you think it's an atrocious idea or feature if it doesn't need to be used? You don't have to use it yourself. It doesn't hurt you, doesn't take away the experience from you. It just gives others time to enjoy something else, to spend time on something else. Yes, factories and buildings are a big part of Arknights Endfield. They are a big part. But that doesn't mean others cannot enjoy the game for different reasons, such as story, characters, the combat, or the world.
itself remains just as clear, which is why I
This game's not going to be able to maintain the cost of its development if it stays like this. I'm just going to be real here. The game is not going to be able to maintain the cost of its development if it has this on release. I'm going to be honest with you.
Now, I don't think the game will die by any means. I don't think it won't make any money. I disagree with Saint here personally. You would be surprised by how many people would play this just for the factory building. I even know a guy who is not an anime fan and wants to play this. Besides, Arknights has a big fan base, so they would let it die that easily. Now, it might drop in popularity if it stays like this, sure. But it will still make decent money, in my opinion.
Those demands for blueprints will grow louder and louder because gacha players only want to eat fast food. The meal without the responsibility of cooking it.
What responsibility? Yes, they want the game to feel like a game. They want the game to feel like a game, not like fucking work. Oh, the horror. The game feels like a game. The game doesn't feel like a chore. Oh!
And to build on the analogy further, fast food might be convenient and tasty, but if you grow accustomed to it, serious health implications aside.
I guess he's implying that all these other gacha games are like fast food, and so they just inherently must be lower quality. While Arknights, on the other hand, is the premier gaming experience, the one where you can openly grief your teammates in co-op modes.
Cooking your own food will start to feel like a chore.
This guy is just such a player blamer, bro.
I find this analogy pretty dumb, personally, to be honest. Because playing a gacha game casually is not unhealthy by any means. It's quite the opposite, actually. It's healthier than when you play for hours on end every day. And he's talking about responsibility in a gacha game, bro. Like, well, guess what? By playing less, I'm responsible for maintaining my health. Cooking your own food might be a chore, but it's healthy, so it's worth doing. While playing a gacha game, like an elitist, is almost like a job. Not even just a chore, and it's the harsh reality, really. It is. It diminishes your health, even if you enjoy playing like that. And hey, if you wanna play like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But the reality is, the truth is, it will diminish your health.
Griff have said they consider the infrastructure and automation to be the focus of the game, explicitly just because they don't personally like it.
Implying that base building is the backbone of an action RPG game is one of the most retarded things I've ever heard.
It is a big part of the game, though, no? Like, let's be real, the story is literally about building a new civilization, no? Basically, you're building everything from scratch, or is it not? It might not be the backbone, per se, or the only big feature, but it is a big one. It might advertise itself as a action RPG, but it does have this factory building element in it that is pretty big. So I don't think it's a retarded take, as he said. But hey, and the rest I honestly don't want to comment on, because the guy just crashes out and basically calls everyone else stupid, while generalizing everything he can about gacha games and gacha gamers. So no point in discussing it, really. So, TLDR, adding QOL, or quality of life, changes to Arknights Endfield will not rip it from its identity. It will just make it more accessible to a wider audience. There is no such thing as someone being undeserving of playing a game, like some elitists say. And finally, both sides made some good points and some bad points, but there really was no need for this level of toxicity, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. See you later. Let's up those numbers, and ciao.